Hey everyone. Yeah, it's hard to believe that today, September 17th, 2024, marks the official 40th anniversary of Transformers. And I know some people that want to be very detailed will say, well, technically it's the 41st because they came out a year or so before as Diaclone in Japan and such. And yeah, that's a technicality that, people might want to add in, but a lot will basically oversee and, in favor of the fact that this year, or 1984, I should say, was the year all of it officially began. And I can tell you as a fan myself, you know, I can't remember when I started watching, but I know it was in '84. And the reason I know that is because my mom at that time frame and in '85 was homeschooling me. Yeah, she basically felt that me being hyperactive, having a little bit of ADHD, even to this day, but a very itty bitty bit of it. I mean, who doesn't still carry that from the childhood if they have it? But anyway, I say that with all due respect. But anyway, she was homeschooling me for 2 years straight, and she technically felt that I wasn't ready to be in public school until about '86. So for that time, as I've talked about before, she would homeschool me, and the way the schedule would go is the homeschool would go from like 8:30 to about noon, and then that would be about it. If not, maybe 8:30 to about 11 at most, but mostly till noon. So that way we can have lunch. She can clean the house up and everything, get dinner ready, later on, and I could just go to my room or stay in my room, have fun with my toys, play with my toys, or watch some cartoons on television. And the latter was one of the more reasonable options because, again, hyperactive, a little, having ADHD at that time, again, which still resonates teeny bit in me to this day. Basically, she chose to, keep her eye on me and everything after, after I would basically, do homeschool and after I eat lunch. So what she would do is she would plot me right here, not right here, but for example, she would plot me in front of the television at our old apartments on Harder Road, not Harris Road, but Harder Road. I don't know why my family thinks that. Maybe I'm thinking harder. I don't know. But I think it was always Harder Road. But anyway, he would plot me right in front of the television. We didn't have these kind back then. We had, the tubes, the big I guess you could say furniture-like ones, the wooden kind, the ones that were basically television, but you could basically it was basically like something like this, like a screen in the middle, and and all that. You get the idea. The wooden TVs. Anyway, she would plot me there, and I would watch cartoons. I would watch WTBS, TBS Now, Tom and Jerry's Super Fun House and Superbook and so on. And again, I don't know what day it was in '84, but one day, I think after she was watching some of her stuff, because she would watch Donahue and a few other shows, as well as CBN, TBN, if you will. And then afterwards, again, she would, get herself, up and clean the house a bit, maybe even, like I said, get dinner ready and stuff. And what would happen is that, again, I would watch television, I would watch cartoons. And one day, again, I don't know what day it was, I just started watching Transformers. And I got hooked with it. And it was something that came on at a time, you know, that, there was different blocks of cartoons, you know, from that time frame. And it was different stations, too. So my mom, obviously knowing what I like and what I would watch a lot, would basically make sure, okay, what channels do you want me to? Does she want to switch over to for me? And she, basically she would look. I would check the TV guide with her help, and I would start watching shows like Jason the Wheel Warriors, Thundercats, Silverhawks. Those are shows. Those honestly I think Jason Silverhawks and Thundercats. I think they were KTVU. I believe they were like at the 2 o'clock hour or something like that. And KTVU two out of San Francisco and Oakland, which is now Fox two. So I think Thundercats and Silverhawks were, I think KBA. I think they were KTVU, I believe, and Jason the Wheel Warriors, I think was KBHK or something like that. But I remember basically around 2 o'clock, I would start watching cartoons and everything. At least around that time frame, I would be watching cartoons, and I think around 2:30, we'd have Thundercats and Silverhawks, and then there would be My Little Pony, and then Gem. Gem, of course, came out in '86, but I think in the summer of '86, they transitioned her from, not just Sunday mornings, but over to weekdays as well. But I do remember, like I said, there was My Little Pony. There was another show in between. I think that might have been Jason. I do apologize for that notification that just came in. But you'll probably hear a lot of those during this. But like I said, I remember watching. Like I said, I remember watching, Silverhawks and Thundercats back to back, and I think that was, like I said, KTVU, and then My Little Pony would be on, and then I think Jace was on either before My Little Pony or afterwards. I think it was before it. So it was that, and then after My Little Pony, on came Transformers, and I'm thinking, what is this, right? So I'm thinking, this is new. And then after Transformers came G.I. Joe. Now, I think I had watched G.I. Joe before Transformers, but, to know that G.I. Joe was going to come on at a certain time, which was about 4:30 or something like that, on KTVU. There was another show before it. I can't remember what it was. Again, I was young. But I do remember the 4 o'clock hours when we had Transformers and G.I. Joe, and I'm thinking, what is this? So the moment, honestly, I think the moment, honestly, that I could try to think of to remember of when I first discovered Transformers is when I got hooked, and I think it's because I was watching blocks of cartoons at that time, as well. So yeah, it was something like that. Again, I can't remember the specific date, but I know it had to be in '84 because I got hooked ever since then. I mean, '85, I'd be watching it. '86, of course, when they would show commercials and TV trailers, TV spot trailers for the movie. I was just hooked. I was just hooked from beginning to end. You cannot tear me away from that TV. And I've been a fan since that day. I mean, even, since that time. I mean, even when we would move, I would watch Transformers. I remember having this TV in my room when we were in Waterford. It was a big TV. For some reason, I'm always imagining it almost like very vertical wise, and it had a screen in it. Kind of, I don't know if it was black and white. It might have been. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I've been like I said, I've been watching them ever since then. And I remember, like I said, being in Waterford. I was sick one time. I was just sitting in my bed and watching Transformers on the TV there. I was thinking, and just enjoying it. And I think this was at a time when Transformers had switched, I think, channels. I think they had switched channels because we didn't have, I don't know what channel, I think it was 31 out here that we had, but I think we also got KBHK. I think we also had KBHK and all that. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it was, but I think it was mainly 31. We were getting channel 31 at that time. And I think that's the station where Transformers came on out here in the central region. But I was watching it even then, and I was enjoying it. I was really, really enjoying it. And it was in between, moving out there and being in Fremont at the time that I really started to collect Transformers. Now, I had, the GoBots, which was basically the more affordable version for parents on a budget to satisfy their, kids' Transformers needs. And I was happy with that. I was happy with the GoBots and everything. And basically, trying to find the right words to say, basically, it wasn't until I think a little before my 10th birthday and afterwards that my parents started to get me some Transformers for Christmas and for my birthday. As a matter of fact, the first Transformer I remember getting was the Throttlebot version of Goldbuck. Yeah, I remember getting him. And then later on, I think for Christmas, I ended up getting Snarl. I ended up getting Snarl and Grappler. I ended up getting those two for my birthday as well. And then, if that's not enough, well, not for my birthday, but for Christmas, I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say here. But then, if that's not enough, for my birthday, that's what I was trying to get at. I ended up getting this. Now, this is not the original one that I got, but it's kind of close to it. It's essentially the same figure. It's just not the one I had. But yeah, I remember, getting that and, just, being happy and enthusiastic. I even shared that moment on Good Morning Sacramento recently, which, of course, I put a clip on here on YouTube, on my channel. You can check it out. But yeah, I was just thrilled, with getting that. And I also remember recording the movie when it was on KBHK. I've talked about this before. I recorded the movie on KBHK. My mom said, "You be a good boy. You do good in school this week. You can do it. You can record it." And I did. So I got it on VHS. I remember also when it first came out on VHS rental-wise in 87, late 86, 87. Again, same thing. Be good, in school, behave at home, and we'll rent it for you. And the day that it came out, I did all of what they said, and they got me. They got me the movie to rent, or they rented the movie for me. And I'll never forget. And I've talked about this before. I'll never forget. My mom, I think, was in shock with how violent it was, because here's a movie based on the show she was letting me watch, and she's like, I think she had this reaction like, why is this more violent than it should be, And me, I had a big gray pillow, so of course when Optimus died, I put my head under the pillow, like, I don't want to see this, So yeah, I ended up watching that movie, according to my sisters, like over 1 billion times, to the point that I know every single line, of that movie. But, as a kid, as a kid growing up, I was, big into Transformers. Didn't, have many figures, but whatever Transformer figures I had or whatever I could get, I was happy with. I even had this. This is not the original one, but I had basically the same lunchbox. I had the same lunchbox and everything. And this one originally, if I can put on the light here, this belonged to somebody else. Let me see if I can zoom in on it, get a clear picture. It belonged to Eric Howard. Yeah, grade 5, I think. I don't know what year, but yeah, grade 5 at a Fairfield, Virginia. Yeah. This was his originally, and I got it off eBay. And it's basically, like I said, the same one I used to have. It's the same one. So I was glad to get that kind of back in my possession. And of course, you can't have something like that without having, and I'm going to turn the light on again here, without having the thermos that went with it, and that's the thermos that I have. Also got that off eBay as well. But of course, as I got older, like a lot of us who probably couldn't afford much, or our parents couldn't afford much back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, as I got older, started to do my own thing, earn my own money, live on my own, that's when I started to collect. I started to make up for lost time. And boy, did I ever. Boy, did I ever. Down here, and I've showed this before, I'll try to link some of them if I can find the videos on my channel. Down here, I have the IDW comic adaptation of the movie, the 86 movie, that was released in time for the 20th anniversary, which Sony did a 2-disc DVD release with a lithograph cover on it. So, I have those. I have those comics. I have the Marvel comics, the original adaptation from 86. I have some Dreamwave comics of Transformers, like Infiltration, Escalation, those stories, some of the parts for those story arcs. I have DDP comics of the G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover. I have some original Marvel comics and everything that I used to own. They're not the same ones I own, but basically they're the same, comics. So I have those, and I have a Marvel. I think it's the final part, or the third to final part of a Marvel Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. So I'm just thrilled to, have, those in my collection. I really am. I really am thrilled to have those in my collection. And if that's not enough, like I said, to make up for a lot of that, and some of those comics I got when I lived out in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas. Some I got, like the Dreamwave ones, I got to Half Price Bookstore there in Lawrence. Some through Mile High Comics online and such. But if that's not enough, of course, had to make up in a big way by getting some figures. And some figures I got mostly when I was here. I came back here and to live here in California with my family. Some of them, like this one, this is Rodimus. I think this is, I don't know if this is Power of the Primes or something like that. I can't really recall. Let me know, guys, which one this is. But I think it might be Power of the Primes Rodimus or Combiner Wars Rodimus. I can't remember. But it's more, basically it's very movie accurate, 86 movie accurate. So let me know. It might be the movie, I don't know. But then behind it is the second Titan Master I got, which is the second Titan Master or Titan figure I got, which is Fortress Maximus. And then before that, I ended up getting Metroplex. So yeah, and we have to. And if you grew up in the '80s like I did, you remember that those originally came out as smaller figures, if you will. I mean, they were big. They were big for their time. I mean, Metroplex was looked at as the biggest Transformer at that time. Now, and honestly, if you were to compare them, the original Metroplex, goes to like. Let me get up closer. The original Metroplex would go up to like the arm here, I think, at most. Well, not Metroplex, but the original Metroplex would go up to the legs. The original Fortress Maximus, what I'm trying to say, would go up to the arm. But yeah, I was just really happy to get those when I had the money because I was working. But of course, it wasn't the only Transformer stuff I got. Of course, as you can see over here, I have a lot of Transformers figures, of course. Shine a little light on this, if you will. Sorry about that. So down here, this is the Transformers Street Fighter collaboration. This one has Hot Rod as Ken Masters and RC as Chung-Li. Then this one here has Optimus Prime as Ryu and Megatron as M. Bison. And then below it, I have the reissue of Generation 1 Hot Rod. And then here have Skylinks. This is the Combiner Wars Skylinks. Then this is Slug, Transformer Studio 86 release. Then Tonkanator. This is a collaboration 2 years ago between Tonka and Hasbro. It's basically the yellow version of Devastator, but, as an Autobot. Then down here I have Soundwave, the original, not the original, but the reissue. Then here, let me see, I have Galvatron. This is Titans Returns Galvatron. And then I have Power of the Primes Grimlock right here. And then right there, I think is right under Galvatron is Power of the, let me see if I can move this, Power of the Primes Starscream. So I have that, and then Starscream 86 coordination right there. Then under here, I have Studio 86 Ironhide, Sweep, not Scourge, and then reissue of Starscream right there, and then underneath of G1 Starscream. And then underneath, we have Studio 86 Perceptor. I have a lot of the Studio 86 in here as well. I'll probably show you those at a separate time, but mainly I got the Studio 86 RC, Studio 86 Hot Rod, you name it. I think I have a video on those. I'll try to find them, like I said, and show them to you. I'll try to find them and show them to you if I can. Put them at the end of the video here. But yeah, I have those. Then down here I have Combiner Wars Starscream and Combiner Wars Megatron. And then over here, I'm going to turn the light back on here. I have Ecto 1, the Transformers GoBots collaboration. I have the one on the bottom next to it is Alita 1. That's Alita 1 from Power of the Primes. Then that's Blitzring, and that is Astro Train as well. And then on the inside here, we have Combiner Wars Skywarp. We have I'm trying to Sandstorm. We have Sandstorm right here. Then over here we have Bumblebee. That's from the '87 movie. We have Titans Return Scourge. We have another Transformer right there. I can't think of his name right now. And who else do we have in here? Nobody. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff in here stacked in. My mom basically made me put some stuff in here. I'll probably fix that later. But then I have this Optimus Prime I got when I was working at Target. This was basically, hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. I almost had an incident there. But yeah, anyway, this is a Sandstorm right here. And then this one right here, like I said, got when they were releasing the Optimus Prime, the robust Optimus Prime. That's a lot more like the one like basically it's the same Transformer that cost a lot, just like the Megatron and the Grimlock. But you know, I guess whoever decided, hey, there should be a cheaper version, put out that one. So pretty cool. So I ended up getting that. And then I'm trying to see if there's anything up here. Oh yeah, I have a Predaking. I don't know if you can really see that. But yeah, I have Predaking, trying to find where you can really see that. But yeah, Predaking right there. Yeah, Predaking right there. That's the Beast. That's the Prime, Transformers Prime Predaking. And then behind here, I have Transformers have basically Hot Rod. It's a 3-pack of Hot Rod. It's basically Hot Rod and Wreck-Gar and I think another Junkion. And then behind that one, I have Cyclonus and 2 Sweeps, if you will. So I have that as well. Trying to see if there's anything else. Not really. But yeah, I have those. I have those figures and such. I just checked something here for a second. But I have those figures and such as well. Oh yeah, and I have can't think of their name right now. Have a red, I think it's a Red Alert or something like that. Let me know in the description of that one, of who that is. And of course I got Ramjet, that was released as a part of the Transformers universe. Hot Shot because of Energon, and another one I can't think of the name of right now. And then, of course, you can't have a collection without having the movies. And then, of course, this, of course, is the Blu-rays of all the movies. And I do apologize for that notification vibration there. This one was the first Blu-ray I got. That's, of course, from Madman Entertainment, because that was a Blu-ray UK release only at the time. And then, of course, Shout Factory for the 30th and 35th releases right there on 4K. This one is the 4K right here. This is the 4K right here, and this is the Blu-ray right there. And then, of course, over here, just going to show you that right there as best I can. Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and Headmaster, Super God, Master Force, and Victory. And then under here, of course, the original G1. So that's pretty cool. And then behind here, I've shown you these before, and I'll even probably do a vinyl update down the line. I have the two vinyl set of Transformers the movie soundtrack, which is the red vinyl and the purple vinyl. And then I have the re-release of the original vinyl that they did as well. And I also have the soundtrack, the original CD release of the soundtrack on on my person. Basically, it's in my CD case as we speak. I've shown you all of this before. I'll try to provide some links if I can. At the end of the video, click on those videos and check them out to see more. But yeah, basically, long story short, I've been a huge Transformers fan since basically the beginning, of the show, and I've not looked back since. I am planning to see Transformers 1 this weekend. Even if I have to go myself, I'm going to go see it. It's supposed to be part of the best, if not the best so far. And I'm if people are saying that, I'm going to definitely enjoy myself. But yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been a fan for a while, and yeah, knowing it's been 40 years, and I was only 5 years old, 5 years and a month and a half old, not even 5 years, 2 months old yet when this came out. When this show came out, this franchise made its presence known. It makes me feel old because I'm 45 now. So yeah, but anyway, that's pretty much all I can say on it. I mean, like I said, been hooked ever since, and there's no looking back, whatsoever. I mean, hell, I'll show you this real quickly before I forget. I went as far as to get basically this is a reissue of the poster, and this came from Oakland, and I've had this poster since I lived in Kansas throughout the 2000s. That's saying something. And of course, I have some other Transformers figures here, as you could tell, as well. And of course, some figures over there, as we can zoom in a little bit and put the light on so you can see better. Yeah, right there. And I also have, as I've talked about before, and I have the Covenant of Primus book, as you can tell, and Power of the Primes Optimus, and I think that's Combiner Wars Optimus over there that I showed you, the one that's in truck mode. But I also have the Friendship in Disguise 8-issue set, the first crossover between My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and Transformers, and the second one. So, yeah, overall, I'm just really happy to be a fan. I mean, I even have, like I said, with Ecto 1, I have the collabs, if you will, that they've done, including My Little Prime, if you will, right there. But yeah, I've been a fan for quite a while, and like I said, there's Prime 20th anniversary figure. So I've been a fan for a long time, and I'm just really proud of it. I really am. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, check out my Teespring store. Also, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. But let me know what your memories are of being transformed.